Hello, it is another beautiful day and an opportunity again to be before you. And the program is Nigeria Now, where we will be breaking down some of the issues, table them, and then see how we can provide solutions. Quite a number of stories that are actually unfolding, but then out of it, we'll pick just few. You know the way we do it on the program, where we look at economy, politics, education, security, among many other issues that keep unfolding in the nation. My name is Sela Lashdasham. I'll be doing the program with Rachel Tansey. Good afternoon, Rachel.
Afternoon, Sarah.
How you doing? How's preparation for the weekend? Thank God it's Friday.
I'm in great. I can't wait.
Yeah, the system is beginning to shut down gradually.
Yes.
And tell viewers at home, do remember that you can be part of the program by joining us on Facebook and also on YouTube, and then you can drop your comment as well on any of the story that is actually of interest to you. And we will be starting with following up with some of the looking at what the service chief we will record. There will be summoned by the House of Reps to actually give details on why it seems as if insecurity is becoming the order of the day. And we will record that the CDS in person of General Musa said the fact that apart from the fact that the judiciary is part of the problem, he has also questioned the integrity of the prison warders. And we are seeing that in the follow-up story, the federal government is set to investigate some of the warders actually aiding terrorism. And Rachel, looking at some of this, we will remember when we said that part of the house cleaning, we really want to be thorough with insecurity. It's high time we do something about it. And I'm happy with the measure or the step the federal government is taking. We've seen that the Minister of Interior has actually said that an investigation should be taken so that for those people who are actually working to aid terrorism in the country, working with terrorists to make sure that there is no peace in Nigeria, in whatever form they are being brought to book. And you and I have always gone back and forth on the fact that we should practice the rule of law and not the rule of man, because a lot of people are hiding in disguise saying that they are working with the Nigeria Correctional Service. Meanwhile, they are actually aiding, and this come up because the Controller General of the prison had some talks with some of the people in the Northeast, and he got to hear that some of the ex-convicts, those who were one time in prison, said that they actually work with some of the prison warders. In fact, if they need an operation to be done outside, all they need to do is send the money through the account of some of these prison warders, and any of the prison warders that agree that his or her accounts will be used, they split the money 50-50. So that is to tell you that it calls to the attention of the government that maybe, peradventurely, these prison warders are maybe not being taken care of, their welfare is not really being done well, and maybe that is the reason, one of the reasons that they will agree to work with terrorists, despite the fact that they know that these people are causing havoc to us in the country presently.
I mean, Sela, and that is the angle that I want to take concerning aiding terrorists as a prison warder. You're a correctional officer, and you are with the sole responsibility of making sure that these people coming to you don't go out the same way. But then you're now a terrorist also, because once you aid terrorists, you become a terrorist regardless, especially if it is intentional. You become a terrorist. You're no longer a prison warder. You might just be there wearing the uniform of the Nigerian prison service. You're dressed like a correctional officer. You bear the title prison warder, but you are actually a terrorist. And there are certain things now, we can't put any crime above or below another. Definitely not. But I believe there are certain things that you shouldn't be associated with whatsoever, and that is terrorism. Because we know a lot of times these people stand against whatever value a certain country or people stand for. We know how merciless these people are. We know how they go about killing, abducting girls, killing pregnant women. We know what we went through when it comes to Boko Haram terrorism in this country. And I believe as a correctional officer, you're not supposed to be associated with these people whatsoever. And then if our reason, Sela, is the funding, is no enough wages, no allowances left, right, center, that is the problem everywhere. Yet, do we have good prison warders? Yes. Are their pay grades same as yours? Yes. Some of them might not even be up to your level, and yet they are sincere, they are diligent, they are transparent. And I happen to know a little bit that one thing psychology does is that there are different tests that is being taken on people to know what is your state of mind and whether you fit to work in certain places. And these reviews are supposed to be done yearly or after 3 years. The same way perhaps we have our paramilitary having after 3 years, or when you work under the federal government, after 3 years you get tested. I mean, you get exam for promotion. It should come with psychological tests to know whether you are fit to be fixed in a certain department under certain organization, because this test reveals a lot about people. These tests are being done even when it comes to our religious bodies, like when maybe when in the Catholic domination, for example, they take this test and they know whether a reverend father, for example, is fit to be in a parish, or he's supposed to be in a school. And this is being done in our religious organizations to know, okay, if this reverend fits to be in this certain part, or if this reverend can function here and there. This is the same thing that I need to see a replication in our paramilitary in every aspect. Do you know why? Because when you look at the paramilitary, they are very important with protecting our lives. Imagine if NDLEA officers are not doing their jobs, collecting bribe left, right, center from kingpins. It means the fight against drug will be useless. And whether we like it or not, we will have an increase on the street. The same way, imagine if our immigrations are just allowing whosoever to come into the country, collecting bribe at the border. You test and see what is this individual's mindset concerning bribe. If he's supposed to be at the border, or perhaps he better be in the office, because this person is likely to keep collecting bribe and letting whosoever to come in. The same with the custom. Do we take this test on people that are supposed to protect our life? Because they might look like they are in the prison, but they are also with the responsibility of protecting our life, because when these terrorists come to them, they have the responsibility of making sure that the terrorist doesn't go back on the street. But yet we are having warders aiding terrorism, and it shouldn't even be heard of in the first place. So I believe that allowances are not the only thing that needs to be done when it comes to our paramilitary. Is it important? Yes. Don't give them a reason to be on the evil side. However, many other things should be put in place, because I believe that no matter how much money some people make, they will still be on the corrupt side because of their mindset, because they are not even fit in the first place to be in certain position. And then I just hope that more work will be done thoroughly, especially when it comes to these paramilitary agencies that we depend on the growth of Nigeria and the safety of everybody.
Rachel, while you were talking, I mean, I had to take my mind to the various prison breaks, even though we did mention it when we were reflecting on what the service chief said to the House of Representatives. And I am hoping that beyond just interrogating or actually investigating the prison warders, we need to even start from the head down.
Sure.
Not just about the prison warders. Of course, we know that the prison warders have more direct contact with these terrorists when they come. And no wonder we say suggestion was being made about let us have them in a different court being tried. And if possible, let us have them not mingling with other petty, people who had some petty crimes in there, because somehow when you put these two together, they have a way of influencing it, and then instead of actually having these people coming out better, being rehabilitated in the proper way, we see them coming out worse. And I'm happy the fact that the Interior Minister is saying that not just about the welfare of this paramilitary, but also even looking at the way the correctional center should be. It should be up to standard with the way you will see other world-class correctional centers are. It's the same way they want that of Nigeria to also be. No wonder we see where they are calling on governors to just try and sign the death warrants for those people so we can have the prison being decongested. So I am hoping, just like you said, that there should be review being done yearly. I think that yearly should be a standard, because over there we see some people that do not have the criteria to be. And I think also to some extent we also have to look at the fact that let politics and nepotism not be the play. Yesterday we were looking at the issue of lawyers, those who actually be passing to the working in the Supreme Court, about our chief justices. And we make mention that it should be based on merit and not just based on who you know who, because that is what has been happening. And I hope that that will be the same thing when we're having people being recruited into that service, you know that this is a serious business.
serious
And we should have people that have the criteria that is needed to actually work there. People that can close their eye to crime regardless of how juicy the money is.
Yes.
Because you know what? You remember when we had that here in Plateau State, it was very close to us. We know what it was.
Yeah.
The entire environment, those who were living around there were scared. Why? Because you never can tell. Until they were yet to have some of these inmates back into the prison. So we are hoping that beyond checking their welfare, let us have a thorough cleaning in everywhere. I'm hoping to hear the police also doing the same thing, investigating. I'm hoping to see every other security outfit also doing the same thing, because it is needed to protect our lives and also to protect every other thing. Now, still looking at the issue of where things should be in the country. Also, again, we're saying that the vice president is also looking at, working together with our governors in seeing the need for us to go into agriculture. And I am happy. Reason why? Because, you and I have been here saying the wells are leaking, we are not meeting our quota, a lot of things are not working as they should be. And there is a need. That is why we saw yesterday during the next meeting, there was a need for synergy where we see our governors coming together. And the vice president was pushing that let us see whereby we can have our land being utilized properly. We need to actually wake up the agriculture, because some of the sectors have been dead. And there is a need to actually make sure that these sectors are up and about and are working, because in a time where we need to meet up, I remember you making an example where there are countries that are actually making huge amount of revenue from agriculture. So what is stopping us? Even though during our morning show we make mention the fact that it shouldn't be about telling the farmers that let's get back to farm, but are we actually looking on mechanized farming, improved farming? Yes, a lot of seedlings. This is the first batch according to the vice president. They are waiting for the next money that will be coming from the African Development Bank, so that other states will also be taking in the second batch, which should start early 2024. But this first state that will be flagging up the first batch, I think FCT, Kano, Kaduna, and other states will be carried along. Now, let us see something done productive. It's beyond saying so amount of money was given, and then how many people will be giving, how many farmers will be taken along. But beyond the paperwork, we want to see the work being done. Because, Rachel, if really we're having a Minister of Agriculture working together with the Vice President, other governors of every state, making sure that they actually take this initiative seriously, Rachel, it's just a matter of few years, we'll see growth when it comes to the agri sector massively.
Stella, when it comes to revamping agriculture in the country, state level, it's first of all, I believe, is identifying our strength when it comes to agricultural products. We already know our strength when it comes to cash crop, whether we like it or not. The federal government, at the state government level, we need to lay emphasis on our strength. It's not about just spreading our resources all across. Anyhow, it will be at the detriment of us not still seeing anything significant from agriculture. Now, if he's calling the state governors, it's not for the state governors to see what is our strength when it comes to agriculture. I believe it's identifying the strength first, because, okay, on the plateau, what is our strength? In Gombe, what is our strength? In Kaduna, what is our strength? In Ondo State, what is our strength? In Ogun, what is our strength? In Kebbi, what is our strength? In Abuja, what is our strength? In Benue, what is our strength? When we're able to say what is our strength, depending on our own regions and state, then we'll be able to make progress. Then we can now know what mechanized farming we are going to adopt, because every crop, every kind of crop, yes, has its kind of machine, has the kind of way you can take it to the next level. When it comes to seedlings, okay, what crop, now that we know our strength regarding the crops that we have, then we'll be able to know the kind of technologies we're going to employ when it comes to dealing with these crops at whatsoever level. And I believe the third and most important, which could even be the number one, regardless of the order, is security, Seller. Because
paramount.
We've had a ranking recently where we are 144 out of 163 countries. Seller. And the funny thing is that we are only above countries that are war torn at the moment. So it means we're also a war torn country. So we're just only lying to ourselves because probably we don't have missiles flying. But I believe missiles are not flying because we don't have the missiles, Sele. But we are also at the bottom together with countries that are in war: Somalia, South Sudan, Ukraine, Russia. We're only above them because probably we are not in the kind of war that they are in. But we're only above countries that are strictly in war. And then we saw how the war in Ukraine affected the supply of wheat to the
cereals
exactly.
and the rest of it.
So why are we sitting now in the position and lying to ourselves about insecurity and saying it has reduced and all of that, where we can clearly see it's affecting our agriculture? Because we can see an example of a country that was doing very well in a specific agricultural sector, cash crop as wheat, and it declined because of war. And that is why we will not see the significant amount of growth when it comes to agriculture because of war, because of crisis, because of insecurity. We have rice farmers being killed on the farm. So when we should be harvesting such an amount, we cannot. And this can be said for every other region that is having a strength in a specific crop, but is being hampered, is being limited rather with insecurity. So I believe it's a step-by-step process, and if the federal government down to the state government level are willing to be able to look at these key point indicators of where we are going to and how to go about it, then we'll be able to see a significant amount of growth. But if we're going to still sit down, no offense to giving fertilizers, no offense to that, but if we're going to sit down and every time we talk about agriculture, all we see the federal government making promises of bags of fertilizers, we are still not going to grow, Sele, because it is above and beyond that. It is important for such aids to come, but it's high time the federal government sits down, deliberates, and decides that it's not just bags of fertilizers. What are the master plans you're putting down for agriculture? What is your strength? What kind of mechanized farming are you adopting for the strength that you have discovered? And above all, let's look into security in the country and the state.
In fact, just like you said, Richard, security should even be the number one thing we look into, because if we say we want to look at rubber, for example, how secure are rubber farmers? And each time we talk about farming and farming, it looks more like we're talking to the people in the rural areas. I mean, there was a time, I keep making emphasis that when we had the rice pyramid, and I asked the question, where is the rice presently? There was a time we export cocoa, palm oil, and all of the rest. But these industries, to even make sure that we're able to process the things, are not there again.
Yeah.
So Rachel, I hope that this morning is not just about giving the seeds, but after we have these products, do we have the industries? Do we have the machines that will process the things? Because I remember you and I have always emphasized on the fact that not only do we want to be exporting, but we should be exporting processed, finished goods. Yes, sir. Because that is where the money really is.
Where the money is.
No wonder people keep making emphasis of the fact that even if we fix our refineries, we'll still see us exporting or actually importing crude oil back into the country. Why? That is to say, something is still lacking. So the work that Nigerians want to see is what they want to feel the impact eventually. Because I know that with all of these things, it's not something that Nigerians will feel the impact just next year or even next 2 years. But we should be able to know that the work is being done. And I just hope that when we see funds like this being given to states, we will see that governors will not hoard these funds. But let us see these funds going down to where it's needed. You make mention of the fact that it's one thing for us to mention our strength as every state. I mean, when you go down to Kaduna, we know that the strength over there is ginger. So what is the governor doing to secure the lives of those who are into ginger farming? If you come down to Plateau State, we are talking about tomatoes, Irish potatoes. What is the governor doing there to make sure that we have improved varieties of potatoes, improved varieties of tomatoes? I mean, we keep seeing NGOs, foreign bodies coming over to see how they can have, let us have investment talks and all of these. But yet, Nigerians cannot feel the impact. Why? Because something is happening. Are we going to mention the fact that because we don't do all of this thing, inflation will keep eating us? You could imagine that you're living in Plateau State, yet you keep feeling the impact of buying what? Tomatoes. Why? Because we're still yet to put the work done. And so I just hope that beyond the vice president, because he had the next meeting, beyond just talking to the governors, we should see them being active to be able to make sure that when they go back, because already most of them should have been back to their state, if not for the issue of back and forth. I mean, I was actually making jest of someone and I said, so who are the governors right now? Because we keep having appeal court removing everybody.
Exactly.
But regardless of all of this, because
Yeah.
this, whether we like it or not, Rachel, where other states are moving forward with this work, other states will be backward. Why? Because
Yes.
they're still trying to put the politics. They're yet to start serving their people as they should be. So we are hoping that beyond all of these things, we'll see the work done.
Yes.
I'm hoping that, you know, when you go to the market, you'll be able to get, I mean, Irish potatoes very cheap. Granite should not be a problem to you. And I think that even when we're looking at that, Rachel, you make mention of security, then we'll begin to see that it's not just the work of the Minister of Agriculture.
It's not.
Let us say that the Minister of Work is making sure that the roads are also
Sure.
good. So that when you are done as a farmer planting, the road,
have
you could
access
have
to the
easy
market
access to the
easily.
market.
Yes.
Because whether we like it or not, it's a synergy. One sector is connected to the other
Yes.
sector, no matter how we want to see here. So even if we say we want to just talk about what the Vice President is doing to make sure that, you know what, agric needs to wake up because it's sleeping. We should be able to see the Minister of Works saying, wow, well, agriculture is working. Why don't I work on fixing the road? And then we see other sectors trying to put, I mean, we keep saying that when you're talking about those who are into onions and rice, Nigeria is there, yet we're still buying it at a high price. How comes? So I am hoping that beyond this next meeting, this governor should go back and start putting the work done. And I believe that in a matter of years, we'll be able to say kudos to the people. You might not actually, it might not happen in your own term, but it should be that you actually started the seed and then other people are actually enjoying the work
True.
of your labor eventually. So, well, we just hope to see more work being done. Say kudos to the vice president for this step. And I hope that more initiatives will be coming. We'll see more sectors being,
Yes.
you know, money being injected into it. So for these states that are in the first batch, let us see them doing something with the money that's been given to them. Well, Rachel, thank you so much for doing
You're
the program
welcome,
with
Celine.
me. And thank you also to our viewers and supporters at home for keeping the stay with us. Until we come again, do have a blessed weekend ahead.